George, good morning. Good to have you here on the news.
Yes, good morning, my brother. How are you?
Very fine, thank you. Now, George, what are your thoughts on the state of democracy in Nigeria currently, and how can the country improve its democratic institutions? And also, let's talk about the processes to better serve the citizens.
Okay, thank you very, very much. One of the things I mentioned severally during the elections of 2023 and the process leading to it is that we are still practicing democracy. It's a bit like 1 inch thick and 10 miles wide. When that process, so many other countries practicing it have the advantage of centuries, to perfect their craft. We're coming from feudalistic, tribalistic cultures, which still exist, and trying to have a syncretic relationship with a Western idea of what democracy is. So we're fumbling and wombling. So on one side, that is there. But I think the greatest problem we have as a nation is inconsistency and lack of continuity, even in the developmental principles of democracy. So, how do we develop the right manner of leadership? What kind of ideology? What's the vision of the nation? We haven't seen enough of the leadership of this country from across the whole country coming together to say, first, let's forget about our ambitions. Let's forget about parties trying to get into power, trying to control the resources, derivatives, and let's first talk about how do we even keep this country safe? How do we keep this country sane? How do we get people together? How do we move this country forward? That's the kind of conversation that a lot of other nations have had that's made them great in the end. Singapore, South Korea, all the countries that were in the same place we were, in 1960. It's because of determined, progressive, sensible leadership. And I think, like the Honorable Chinua Achebe, said in one of his treatises several decades ago, the problem of Nigeria is not the topography rather, it's not the landmass, it's not the air. We are beautiful, we are sunny, this is a wonderful country. What is consistent is at the ward level, we don't even have positive leadership. So not to talk about the presidential level. There's just this me, people taking care of themselves. And so when they get into power, the instinct is to do the same. And so the dividends of the democracy we're looking for is still a generation away, I unfortunately believe.
Well, listening to you there talk about the ward level and all, but let's take it one step further. Let's talk about the youth. Now, the government has announced plans to increase youth participation in governance and also decision making. How feasible do you think this is, and what steps do you think need to be taken to actually make this a reality?
Well, when it comes to the youths, I don't think government should be making plans for the youths without involving the youths. That's already one additional error. You have to be talking to the youths, where the Bonner Boys and the area stars and the Osimens and on the table telling you what they want. So you can't be having a few people sitting together in one place and creating policies. We still have a 2009, I think, youth policy that most people don't know about. The Youth Council Development of Nigeria, people still don't know what they're talking about. It seems to be just Abuja-based entities doing things in Abuja, not felt in several and central local government. So I think government talking about what to do with youth and youth development should start with having conversations with youths. There should be youth summits, youth events, town hall meetings, going around, engage the youths, get them excited, and be a part of the process. That's really all they want. 150 million people under the age of 35 in this country. That's massive. What are we doing with that? Of course, they will want to japa. And the reason for that is they don't feel engaged. So you cannot impose policies on people anymore. It's time to start getting the policies from the people. Then you will get the policies that matters to them, not the one you think matters to them. That's where the first error is. But the idea behind it is fantastic. Once it's not politicized, once it's not the idea of, let's just use the opportunity to put our children in places of, places of power. But I think, as somebody who used to be an athlete, who represented this country as a patriot, I know where it pinches my own self. And I think that engagement needs to happen where the young people are the ones telling the government, this is how you should consider adding us into governance and into nation building. That is what Minister of Youth should really, really be doing now, engaging the people, not in Abuja, going around the whole country, calling youth summit, conferences, leadership events, and from there getting this. It doesn't matter if it takes 3 years, 4 years. The engagement the fact that they are engaged, they make them feel vibrant, make the country, the energy will be there in the And then next thing is we're waiting to see the implementation. And they will hold you responsible. Remember in SARS, they will hold you responsible for not implementing what they came up with.
It's very interesting that you should actually mention NSAS. Now, when we talk about the youths, are they really willing to actually govern? Are they interested in governance at all? What can the government also do to make them interested? And what roles can they play as young people in promoting unity and also addressing the country's socio-economic challenges? These are many questions. I hope you got all of them, but are they interested and what roles can they play? Hello, George.
Can you say that again? Yes,
All
can
right.
you repeat that?
Yes, I was talking about the youth and how disenfranchised they have been. I mean, their language is mostly just protest, and in the current past, it has been quashed quite effectively, leaving them with no other means of expressing themselves. So my question was, are they really interested in governance? And if they are, what roles can they play, that's the youth now, in the Nigerian governance system?
Of course, they're interested. You know, frustration comes when you are not able to express yourself, when you feel you're not understood, when the people in authority are not listening to you. Look at all the members of State House of Assembly. They tend to be young people, people in the federal cabinet. Look at the special advisors. Look at those who are elected even to the National Assembly. You know, on average, a lot of them are also young people. But are they even engaging the youth in their own community?
Thank you very much, George, for joining us inside of the news this morning.